Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, my neighbors pranked me and my roommates by stealing our furniture, so we let them keep the furniture. My roommate is so mean to me, so I'm moving out and taking my stuff with me. Bully me and try to sabotage my college application? Good luck getting into college. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My neighbors pranked me and my roommates by stealing our furniture, so we let them keep the furniture. My next door neighbors thought it would have been funny to steal all of our furniture out of our house. This was in college and we were friends with them, so it was all in good fun. There was no one home at the time, so they thought that they were so clever. I caught them when they took the last couch and my beanbag chair. I demanded my beanbag back, which I tackled someone for, but I wanted to go home and decompress from work. I didn't want to get all our furniture back in the house, and it was also night time. The next day, my roommates and I were trying to figure out how to get back at them. We were impressed by how much effort they put in to grab the 4 couches, 3 coffee tables, dinner table and chairs, etc. We then realized their house was small and it must have taken up all the open space. So we decided to not do anything about it. We go over there after 2 days and they complained that they have to climb over the couches and tables to literally go anywhere in the house. There was no more walkable space in the house, lol. They thought we couldn't wait them out, but they ended up yielding in the end. And I will say, they yielded first meant that they brought it back. I wasn't going to expend effort for their prank, no way. My roommate is so mean to me, so I'm moving out and taking my stuff with me. For some context, my roommate is kind to me 75% of the time, but the leftover 25% of the time, they're so mean it's not even funny. They snap at me for things outside of my control. They yelled at me for chewing too loudly. I was eating chips in the middle of the day. They take naps all the time and told me I could feel free to make noise, but yelled at me for taking a phone call and whispering. They cussed me out for eating food that I thought was mine, and worst of all, they posted a TikTok bashing me and my partner. Now I decided to move out and I told them that. I got my new room assignment and I'm moving out this weekend. As I'm planning my move, I'm realizing that almost all of the shared stuff in our room is mine. The fridge is mine, the trash can is mine, the vacuum is mine, the pot/pan/cooking stuff is mine, the cleaning supplies are mine. My roommate and I both had fridges and we decided I'd bring mine and they would leave theirs at home, so now they're stuck without a fridge. Serves them right too, BC. They let stuff spill in the fridge and now it's super sticky, so I have to clean it. Whenever they're being nice to me, I feel bad, but the moment they snap at me, all my guilt goes right out the window. Bully me and try to sabotage my college application? Good luck getting into college. I just ran into my old high school teacher and was reminded of this, so thought I'd post it here. Apologies for being long, but I hope it's satisfying. Back when I was in high school, I got really sick at the beginning of my senior year and had to take a long leave of absence. By the time I got better, not only did I basically have to do that year all over again, but it meant all of my friends had graduated. I was miserable and feeling all alone, and worst of all, I was the stereotypical smart kid who also now happened to be older than they were, so got picked on a lot as well. We were taking a test when there was an emergency and the teacher had to step outside for a few minutes. The other students were trying to get me to give them the answers to the questions when Leah, one of the more popular students, stepped in and told them to knock it off. She seemed kind and helpful, and we became fast friends. Back then, college applications required sealed letters of recommendations to be mailed in by the student, and the programs I was applying to required 2 LORs. I decided to get 3 just in case. One of them was from my English literature teacher, because although I was applying to science programs, and already had been promised LORs from 2 of my science teachers, I wanted to show that I had broad interests. Mr. M was surprised to be asked, but agreed, and he asked me to give him a 2-page essay about myself so he could flesh out the LOR. I appreciated that he was taking it so seriously and worked hard on that essay. However, he took so long that he only gave me the LOR literally the day before the applications were to be sent out. On top of that, he left the envelope unsealed and told me to take a look before mailing it. I actually ended up being really thankful to him since it wasn't all that positive, so I ended up discarding it. I didn't really think much of it since it wasn't like every teacher had to like me. However, as soon as our applications were mailed, Leah's attitude changed 180 degrees. At lunch, she told me no one liked me and that she had only tolerated me so I could help her get into college. Bullying then resumed in earnest, and she also spread several private things about myself to the other students so I could be further humiliated. It took me a while, but I realized she shouldn't have known about a few of those things since I never told her, until I realized it was information that was in the essay I'd written for Mr. M. Which was when I also found out from one of my friends in college that Leah was Mr. M's niece. And it became clear to me that the LOR was intended to be sabotage, because had I not gotten 3, I would have been screwed. My applications would have been deemed incomplete, and I would have had to apply the next year. I was furious, but there was nothing I could do. I no longer had any classes with Mr. M and had no proof the LOR was sabotage or that he'd given Leah access to my essay. And it was possible that Leah was the sole party responsible and Mr. M had no part in anything. So I just resigned myself to a hellish senior year and spent as much time as possible in the school library since that was the only place I got a reprieve from my tormentors. I was fortunate enough to receive an early acceptance to the programs I'd applied to. Leah, however, was not so lucky. Despite not being that good of a student and not having met all the prerequisites, she'd still applied to the best schools in the area and ended up not getting any early acceptance letters. And by the time she did receive one, it was a conditional offer, contingent on her final GPA. Which then gave me the perfect means of revenge. Leah was the type to overshare information, and she wasn't exactly quiet when complaining about her grades, so it was easy enough to keep track. By the time our final month of high school approached, I knew she was relying on Mrs. T's class to pull her through. Mrs. T was really nice and she wanted everyone to succeed, and she also knew that for a lot of seniors, her class was either really important or completely unnecessary. So she always gave a final group project and a final exam that were worth a significant chunk of the grade, but the students had the option of doing only one or both. If you only did one, that grade applied to both. But if you did both, whichever one was higher was your grade for both. Because the group project was graded before the final exam, there was time to study should you need a better grade, and she also curved the exam score as well just to give everyone the best chance. Being that I was the best student in the class and Mrs. T liked me, I asked her if I could be assigned to the same group as Leah and her friends, which she readily agreed to do. Leah and her friends crowed about their luck, assuming that they could skip it all and I would be forced to do all the work. Except they forgot that there was essentially no penalty for skipping this project. They were horrified when I told them, the day before the project was due, that I didn't do it, and Leah in particular was now in trouble since in order to attain the necessary GPA, she had to do well on the final exam. For about a week she apologized, tried to bribe me, and even begged me to go easy so the grading curve would be in her favor. I did no such thing, of course. I studied as hard as I'd ever done, and aced it. My 100% meant there was no curve, and while Leah passed the class, it wasn't enough to boost her GPA. Word soon got around that she didn't get into college, and she had to take summer classes and an extra year to reapply. I made sure to give Mr. M a big smile when I saw him at graduation. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.